Today's episode of the Ross Cloud podcast is sponsored in part by GospelStationCharts.com, where you can view gospel radio station song charts and track the promotion of your song, such as view how many stations are playing your song and how often, including what day and time your song played. Check it out now. Visit GospelStationCharts.com.
You ready to empower your students to become stronger writers? Check out Rethinking Writing One Word at a Time by Sheila Beverly, a workbook that's been praised by educators for its innovative approach to teaching grammar and writing. Dr. Daryl Morris calls it a motivational hook that helps students get their ideas down on paper, and other teachers rave about its hands-on tools like the Grammar Bubble manipulative toy to make learning fun. Perfect for classrooms or home learning. Get your copy now on Amazon and watch your students' writing skills shine. Was created to motivate and to inspire, and hopes that you will become a better you. Can you do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button to the Black Ross Network? We really do appreciate it. Listen, we have a very, very special guest with us here in the midst of kingship. We have the one and only Mr. Marcel Clarke, who is a generational entrepreneur. He's also an author as well, and we'll get into the rest of his whole resume as we continue to move forward within this conversation. Marcel, what's happening, man?
Thanks for having me on your show, Chris. I appreciate that introduction, man, and I'm glad I can lend to your community. So it's whatever it takes to make sure that I inspire our people.
Right on, man. I appreciate that. And that's a beautiful thing, because really that's what this platform is dedicated to. So listen, you're from Maryland, man. You're from Maryland?
Yes. Yes.
You are from Maryland.
Yes. College Park, Maryland, man.
Yes, sir. College Park, Maryland, man.
Maryland. Love that place.
Love it, man. And your family navigated, and you guys found yourself going to Philadelphia. So you kind of take the folks from there, and we can start from there, and we'll build from there about your journey.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my mom and my dad, we lived in Maryland for a little while. My dad was just an entrepreneur from the outset, and he had a nice fish market in Landover, Maryland, and he was running that fish market for a while, but it actually caught fire and burned down. And he was kind of like, "Hey, I feel like it's opportunities in Philadelphia." So that was my dad. He jumped up, and next thing you know, we were living in Philadelphia. And Philly was a beautiful city. I love Philly, and it was definitely a beautiful time because the Rocky movies were coming out.
Oh, man, yes.
Yeah, and the whole place was stimulating. So in Philly, my dad started a lot of these little corner stores. So they're like 7-Elevens. However, they cook food. So the famous Philadelphia cheesesteaks, my dad used to make those all of the time. And his corner store started to become really, really, really popular. So he stretched out to like 4 or 5 of them. And as a kid, just watching my dad in that environment, all of the respect he received from the community, all of the love he gave back to the community, everything that that community gave to him, it just was inspiring as a little small kid, just watching them in that environment. Especially back then, I didn't realize that an African American entrepreneur was a thing. Like, I didn't understand how special he was, but now in retrospect, looking back at it, I'm like, wow, and he was a part of the tribe. So it's really good, fond memories of that city and that time during my life. I'm always going to hold on to those.
Right on, man. I had the great pleasure of experience. I think it's Geno's Philly cheese and steaks, man.
They're one of the kings up there.
Man, listen, I didn't know anything about sweet peppers and onions, brother, until I went there.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I was blown away, and the line was out the door. It was a beautiful experience. I totally agree with you. That's one that I will never, ever forget. There's nothing like a Philly cheesesteak, a real one.
Nowhere in the world. They might try to duplicate them other places. But when I found myself back in Maryland, I tried a cheesesteak here. I was like, this is not the same. I was like, this is not the same. So nobody can replicate those cheesesteaks. And if anybody's ever hasn't had them, I promise you, go to Philly, find like Chris is telling you, find Geno's. That's one of the number one.
Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Indeed, man. So So listen, man, we're gonna keep this conversation going, man. You found yourself education wise was something that you decided that you would build upon. You know, as we've spoken before in a previous conversation that we've had off camera, you were talking about education being kind of like the catalyst that pushed you to where you are now, and the a great deal of discipline, the requirements of discipline in order to achieve such a goal of a degree. I think a lot of times we take light of that pursuit of education. It's not an easy one. So
Mm-mm.
if you would, can you kind of talk about that a little bit, Marcel?
Education, to me, is everything, and I'm not in
Mm,
this, and that's just a fact. I was just
yeah.
fortunate enough to be in a household where my mom, she had a master's degree. Like, education was everything for her. Her sisters, all of her sisters, all AKAs, and they were like, when I was a kid, it wasn't an option. It was
Yes.
like pretty
Yes.
much this
I'm
is the
with you.
standard
Hmm.
in education. This is what
Yeah.
you will achieve, right?
Yes.
And
Hmm.
it was
Hmm.
like just figure out, what you're gonna get your degrees in. But I
That's right.
never ever felt like getting my education was an option. That's the first thing.
Mm,
So
okay.
that's why I always talk to parents, and I'm like, parenting is so important. You see,
Yeah.
I opened up with my dad. I'm 52 years
Yeah.
old, and I'm talking
Yeah.
about my dad at 52, right?
No
Now I'm
doubt.
about to about my mom at 52. And at 52, I mean, when I was a kid, my mom she was just like that category was so solid that it was just never a question of when. It was just when was it going to happen. So being in that environment, as I started to evolve and grow, I just started to focus on, okay, well, what did I want to get my degree in? And
Hmm.
I really always loved communications. So
Yeah. Okay.
communication was like a key for me. So when I first my AA was in communications, then
Yeah.
my BA was in marketing, and then
Mm.
my master's degree was in what we call organizational communications. And this is
Yes.
basically an MBA in
Okay.
this. So
Got you.
that's kind of like my path. And
Yeah.
the good thing about that is all of those degrees have served me well.
Hmm.
So that's why I love education, because it was at a point when we talk about later in my life, when I had to really start taking risks, I still was taking calculated risks, because I had a
Yeah.
clear understanding of what it took to be successful in those realms based on
Hmm.
my education. It's just
Yeah.
that education is theory, and then when you go into the real world, this is actual practical practice. So
Yeah.
it's two totally different things,
Yeah.
but from that standpoint, again, my education was always my foundation to moving forward. And I guess it really registered to me why my mom wanted me to get my education. And it was because that's something that they can't take away from me.
Yes.
No matter what, once you
No
have your
matter what,
education and you have your degrees, it is what it is.
it is
So
what it
no
is.
matter what, in my world where there's a lot of risk involved, when I first started out, I was always like, well, if this doesn't work, I can go get a job.
Right on. Absolutely.
know,
Hey,
like
it's true. That's true, man.
it was like I can use
Yeah.
this degree and I'm gonna be just fine, right? And I did have
That's right.
jobs prior to hopping into entrepreneurship, but my point
Sure.
was I could always go back and I could pick up right where I left off if I wanted to be
Hmm.
in that 9 to 5 world. And I think
Yes.
that's the flexibility that education gives you.
Man, I love that, man. And in order to do that, I was reading down your website, which your website is absolutely amazing, man. I said this brother's top tier. I love it, right?
I
So
appreciate
if right on, man. So as I was going down your website, there was something that struck that hit me here that I've always heard in my household from my mom with my brothers and my sisters is the power of manifestation. And when I saw that on your platform, I said, well, wow. When I was looking at your business acumen, but also the education piece that came along with that, Marcel, I said there had to be a moment of manifestation going on before he actually stepped into that. You know what I mean? Like telling
that.
yourself, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, I'm not going to do this. And maybe you made a mistake, but still that power. Look at where you are now. Can you speak to the power of manifestation for us?
I have to give it to, again, the way I was raised, because
Mm,
everybody in my circle, all my aunts, my uncles, my family, everybody is so incredibly positive. Nobody
Yeah.
ever told me that I couldn't do anything. My mom always told me that I could do it. It was just a question of how was I going to do it. But she always told me that I was going to be just fine. I was going to be an entrepreneur. And I didn't
Mm.
even, and that was before I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. She just knew my
Yeah.
dad had it, and she knew she could see. I guess she could see I'm her kid, so I guess she could see that I had those same traits. So even when I
Absolutely.
didn't know I was going to be an entrepreneur, my mom was telling me I was going to be an entrepreneur. So there you go.
Mm.
She's manifesting it, right?
Yes.
And then when I'm in that environment and I'm like, yeah, this actually works for me. Then I just really my mindset totally shifted to the fact that I just gave it 100% focus because I felt like I was in my purpose.
Yeah.
And once that happened, I was just unstoppable because it didn't really
Yeah.
matter about the things that I was going to face, which I faced a lot. I mean, I still,
Sure.
get hit all of the time, but like understanding that you feel like you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, like
Yes.
I just kind of like I just took that and I never stopped. And I'm the same way now with my kids, right? I always
Yeah.
tell them that they're going to be huge. They're going to be dominant in their fields. They're going to be
That's
very
right.
successful. It's
That's
because
right.
not only because I believe it, but I need them to understand that they need to understand and believe that too.
That's right.
Don't let the world strip you down and tell you what you're not going to be. You have to articulate what you're going to be. So
Come
yes,
on now.
I was like, yes, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire. I'm gonna have
Yes,
multiple
sir.
companies. And I'm gonna be dominant in the real estate field. Like I knew that. And like once I started on that, like nobody was going to be able to tell me any different. And I really believe it because it's in the scripture, right? You need to manifest what you believe you want to happen in your life. If you're going to
Yeah.
be positive, manifest positive things. And the same thing works in the other direction too, people.
Yeah.
So if you start negatively speaking to yourself and negatively talking to others, what outcome do you expect to come out of that?
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
we have generations of kids that are lost to that parents telling
Yes.
their kids what they're not going to be, right?
Mm.
No,
Yes.
you have to make sure you're instilling in that next generation exactly everything you expect them to be. And again, that's what I started with, right? The expectations for me at a very young age, no, regardless of me deviating from the past sometimes, the
Sure. Sure.
expectations were always nailed in my head. Like I knew I had to be somebody.
Yes. Yes. Man, I love that, man. I absolutely love that. And that is so true. I love what you said too. Even when you deviated across the path, over in your path that you were on, you still had that mindset was I'm going to be the best at whatever it is that I do.
Yep.
And I wanted to ask you this question: how do we, as parents, as fathers, especially black fathers, how do we find a way to hold that accountability with our children, but still our sons in, especially our sons, Marcel, that
Hmm.
accountability piece with that, without crushing the dream, if you would, whatever it is that they want to do, character and behavior things they come along with that too. That stuff has to be in order to self-control, discipline. How do we instill, that accountability piece? Let's say this: redirecting the behavior, if you would, in a positive way, but still holding accountability.
Yeah, well, the number one thing is as a parent, I model it every single day, right?
Oh,
My word is my bond. Everything I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do it. If I explain to you that I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, right? That's just how this works. Second
yeah.
thing is I don't really appreciate when parents reinforce bad behavior, right? So if my son doesn't do exactly what he needs to be doing, which is right now focus on your grades, Bryce. If he's not focusing on his grades, I can't reward that type of behavior. So
Mm,
something's going to be extracted from Bryce, but not
yes,
because his life is too simple. All you have to do is go to school and focus.
that's it.
So you
That's
have to
it.
adhere to the rules of the household, right? And that's your job. So you need to go to your job and execute every day. If you're not doing that, first of all, I'm not rewarding that, and I'm taking something away from you until you
Yeah.
really do understand. And usually it's video games. Until you do understand, right? Like I'm going to take whatever he loves away from him, and I'm going to keep it until
That's
he
right.
demonstrates that his grades are back on track. It's holding kids accountable, but also
Mm,
letting them know, yeah, I love you. I'm your dad. I love you. But this is because you're not going to always be here with me. And
mm.
that's where I think where parents go wrong, right? Like in my household, and again from my mom, it was pretty clear to me that like after 12th grade, I was going somewhere. I was
Facts.
I wasn't going to be sitting
Oh,
home,
facts.
right? So I
Yes,
was
sir.
pretty independent as a young person anyway. But it was made pretty clear to me like there are steps to this thing. So
Hmm.
when young people are under our roofs, it's our responsibility to prepare them for the next step. Like
Yes.
you're not going to be able to teach your kid everything. That's impossible.
No.
But life is going to teach them that other half. And they just
Hmm.
have to be prepared when they walk out that door. That's our responsibility as parents. So again, you don't have the time to be trying to be their best friend. That
Come
comes
on, man.
later in life, right? So
Yeah, come on.
I have a 32-year-old and we're tight now. She's
Yeah.
married. We can talk about anything. We're cool. We and I'm always going to be her dad. She's clear on that.
Sure.
But
Yes.
we're just in a different place because she did exactly what I needed her to do. She went to one of the best schools in Virginia. She went to she ended up working for some Fortune 500 companies. She basically created her life first. And then she got
Mm,
married, right?
I
So
love that.
yeah, so my
Yeah.
daughter is strong on her own. She doesn't need a man. She's good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and now I know that she's good. I can fall back as a dad. That's on her husband now. I'm good.
Yeah.
She's accomplished what she needed to do as a young person. Now it's time for her to live her life. It's the same protocol and it's the same game
Yeah,
plan
man.
for my younger kids too. Like they're set up for success, but they have to execute. It's on
Mm,
them. It's not on me as a parent. It's
yes.
on them. And when they don't execute and they don't demonstrate that they're working towards success, then it's my responsibility to take whatever action is required to get them back in line.
I love it,
That's
man.
it. Period. Period. You
Yeah,
know?
period. Right. Man, well said. Well said. I believe that totally, totally, totally. I share that with my son all the time. He's 14. I always tell him the same thing. Hey, man, you got the easiest job in the world. All you got to do is make good grades. All you got
That's
to do
it.
is go to school and study
That's
and
it.
go to sleep. What?
And I got you.
And
You
I
do,
got you.
I got you. That's all you need to do, and we're good.
That's,
You know?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
my
it.
kid, and I even and I set him up for success. I'm like, and then you bring home all A's, I buy you whatever you want.
Oh,
You know,
man, it's on.
it's on. It's on.
It's
So
on.
that's your only job.
That's
No,
your only job.
no way any parent out there that wants to have a kid that's going to be a productive member of society, there's no
Yeah,
way that you don't hold that kid accountable to getting
that's right, man.
grades. Because again, we're speaking to the culture, and that's when I kind of get into my own feelings because
Sure,
these
man.
kids go out here and you see a kid out there committing crimes. People don't want to take responsibility for the parents that were involved with that, right? Like when I see in DC for a minute last year, the kids were just carjacking people. The first thing
Yeah.
I'm sitting there saying is, where's that kid's parents?
Yes.
When a 14-year
Yeah.
old feels like they can go out there and carjack somebody, you're sitting there going, well, where was that kid's parents? Even if it was a single mom should be
Even if it
beating that
was.
ass when she catch that kid. Because my
Man,
kids,
come on.
before my kids would think about doing something like that, I promise you they're thinking about me. I promise you, they'll be thinking about me, and I guarantee they won't do it.
Absolutely.
So, like,
Absolutely.
we gotta hold each other accountable, and we gotta hold our communities accountable. But parents, we mean everything. If you don't step in and guide your child now, it's everybody pays the price down the road.
Yes, yes. That's so true, man. Thank you for sharing that too. I'm sure there's a lot of fathers that feel the same way.
Yeah,
So I
man.
appreciate, yeah, man. I appreciate you for sharing that. Listen, there's another quote that I saw on your page too as well, that hit in a real place for me. It says, "There's a different level of grind when you have nothing or when you sell it all."
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
speak to that entrepreneurial spirit if you would?
Yeah, when I crossed over to become an entrepreneur, I could tell you when I first bought my first franchise, and I remember I was sitting around a lot of the owners that had been well established, and I remember the OJs, they were really big in Fairfax County, Virginia, and
Yeah.
they had like 30 cars. And this is a residential cleaning company, people, and they had like 30 cars. And I remember Donna looked at me and she was like, because I was brand new, and she was like, Marcel, be prepared to go underwater for at least 2 years. And I was like,
Mm.
what does underwater mean? She was like, you're not gonna be able to do anything else but this business. It's gonna take 100% of everything that you have. And I could
Mm.
tell you, when I started that business, and for instance, it's a four-person team, and one of them was a vacuum maid, and the vacuum maid used to be a guy. He has to be a guy because the vacuum's pretty heavy.
Sure,
So
sure.
very first, it's our very first week in business, and we have a couple of clients, and one of them, the vacuum guy called out. Guess who had to put that vacuum on? Mr.
There it
Mr.
is.
Mr. Advanced Degree. With all my education, here I am in this
Yes,
lady's
sir.
house with a vacuum on my back, making
Yes, sir.
sure that that team executed on that clean, because I wanted to make sure that we impressed that customer, and also that my business was able to move forward. Sometimes, and so many times in my life, I've been down on the bottom, though, like on the bottom, feeling like it's all over, and like wondering, how did I get there? And I can promise you, the two things that pulled me out of those situations was, one, this overwhelming spirit that just made me feel like, I mean, God just was always with me. Always, I
Mm.
just always, and again, I'm not pushing religion on people,
Oh,
but
no, 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 no. No,
another
man,
thing
you good.
that's another thing my mom did. Every other week we were in church. Y'all heard me? Not every Sunday, but every other Sunday we be in there, right? And
Yes,
like,
sir.
yeah, and it's just like, it's something about understanding that like life is bigger than you, and
Yeah, man.
understanding that there's a plan out there for all of us that he's already created. When I was down in the dark, I used to be like, I know this isn't how my plan ends. I'm like, I know I'm going to be okay. So that was the
Yeah,
number
man.
one thing, right? That would always pull me
Mm-mm.
out of that darkness. And then number two, I just have this ability to just get laser focused on whatever it is I'm trying to achieve. Like nothing
Yeah.
else matters. It's the straight tunnel vision at that point, right? Because it's what we mentioned off camera. Like when you're in a situation where you feel like this is all I've got, then I don't care if you gotta get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you don't go to bed till 4 a.m. the next day. It doesn't matter, because you're so focused on doing whatever it takes to win.
Yes. Yes, man.
It's something, it's power in that when your back is up against the wall and you're
Man.
like, I need this to happen, right?
Yes.
You're just going to give it another level of energy, focus,
Mm.
concentration, and you're just gonna just zoom in on it. And every single day, if you do that and you're just trying your best to push that one little ball forward, trust me, you'll look back, and you're way outside of that tunnel. You're
I
gonna,
love it.
yeah, you're on your feet. You're on your feet because that's what it takes. It takes going all out one. Again, I think a lot of people, when Kobe Bryant was alive,
Mm.
he wasn't my favorite basketball player. I used to
Got you.
always look at him and say, "Oh, he's trying to be like Michael Jordan." La la la.
Sure.
But
Sure.
but now when you look at him, now that they put out his history as a kid, I want you guys to go find that CNN documentary
Oh,
about Kobe
yes.
Bryant.
Excellent.
This
Yes.
boy
Excellent.
is he's 5 or 6 years old, and he is doing everything he can to become a pro
Everything.
athlete. He
Yes.
basically was out there every single day playing basketball. He walked around with the basketball, people.
Yes.
And that's what people don't see. Every time he turned around, that boy had a basketball in his hand. He was playing basketball. He was learning about the greats. He drilled down on the game so much and watched so many Michael Jordan tapes and watched the best of the best every single day. What you think is going to come out of that? Now, of course, he
Yeah.
had athletic skill. I mean, it was a great
Sure.
combination, but his
Sure.
mindset and his abilities, all of that came from him learning his whole life. And that's the thing when we're doing things. Like, I never stop learning as an entrepreneur. I'm
Mm.
always learning something different every single day. I'm always stimulating my brain. I'm looking at things from a different perspective, because that's what it takes. You have to always evolve, because we're in a society now with a lot of technology. This AI thing is real. And
Yeah, it is, man.
you have to keep up with the environment now. So you should always be learning. But yes, when your back is up against the wall, I think that's the best place to be. And I think if you ask me about, that's the difference between, I can tell you what, I'm a real estate developer, people,
Yes.
and my and like I do come across a lot of different realtors, and there are two types of realtors. You have your
Mm.
part-time realtor that's doing it part-time, and here and there they'll get a sale and they're cool with it. And then you have your full-time grinders. You see their newsletter every day. They basically out there shaking hands, networking.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
their
sir.
life, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's my point to you guys. The latter is making way more money than the former. Okay, because that
Mm.
realtor, that's all he or she does every single day. That's their grind. That's to me the genuine entrepreneur. Because when you're an
Mm.
entrepreneur, you don't, I'm not in this part-time.
Yeah.
I live, breathe, eat everything. This is me all day, every single day. That's the kind of commitment you have to have towards anything you want to be
Yeah.
successful in, no matter what it is.
Man. I love it, man. Thank you for that. You know, man, you sound like a preacher too, man. I almost said hallelujah a couple of times. Why why
Hey, I
you
told you
was
when I was a kid, the gift of gab, man, they used to
right
call me
on?
walkie-talkie. I mean, I could do this all day, every day, Chris.
Come on, man. I know. It's in you, man. It's just in you, brother. All we needed was a good Hammond organ, man, and a couple of folks jumping around, bro. I bet you would have raised a great offering after
I get
that.
them going, man. I get them going.
Yes, sir. So listen, man, you have this mantra that I saw on your page, and you call it the 5-step formula to success, the 5 C's: courage, curiosity, consistency, challenge, and community. Can you
Mhm.
take just a brief moment to kind of just talk over that just a little bit, if you would?
I think I start with community. I think community is the most important element when it comes to giving back, really getting involved with what's going on around you, specifically for the culture. I definitely think
Mm,
it's incredibly important to
yeah,
reach back and help those that might need guidance and mentorship. We only have us, people. That's all we have. And
come on, man.
every culture does it. People try to give me grief sometimes, but I go when I go into the nail salon to get a manicure, I don't see anybody but Asians. That's all
That's
I
it.
see. When I stop
That's
at,
it.
at the gas station, I see my people from Afghanistan. I could go on. If you go to the Chinese Chinatown downtown, they have a dozen stores. They're
That's all you
all
see.
Asians. So
That's right.
what's the problem with black people helping black people? Like, what are you
Nothing.
talking about? Like, that's not a new concept. That's cultural reinforcement. So
Mm-hmm.
so that's where
Mm-hmm.
I start. Like I do everything black, right? And
Yeah.
I got white friends, Asian friends, Indian
Absolutely.
friends. We all good, right?
Absolutely.
But when it
Yeah.
comes to like me spending my dollars, I spend my dollars in the community, right? I
Right.
try my
Right.
best when I bring
Yes.
on new contractors. I try to bring on contractors within my culture. I try my best to do that. Not saying that I do it exclusively, but what I'm
I
saying,
know what you
I
mean.
try I try my best to reinforce those relationships and try to put money in those people's pocket. That's because
Yes.
again, I want to reinforce the community. I talk about courage because I think if you really, really want to be successful in this world, it's going to take courage because courage it supersedes fear. And
Mm.
fear is always a governing factor
Yes,
to
sir.
everybody. A lot of people don't want to do things because they're scared
Y-
of failing, right? And it's a natural feeling and instinct for everybody to feel like be scared of failure. But I tell you, it could keep you caged. Because
Yeah.
if you don't really step outside and go, okay, I'm gonna take a risk, then you're just basically gonna be, pigeonholed for your whole life.
Mm.
There's nothing out here that's worth having if you want to take it to the next level that's not gonna
Yeah.
require risk, right? It's risk
Yeah.
when I'm buying positions in the stock market, it's risky. When I start my businesses, it was risky. When I'm doing real estate development deals, they're risky. Like it's risking all of it, and you can lose, absolutely. But there's a lot of lessons and losses,
Mm.
right? There's a lot of lessons and losses, and if you don't, take that step and be courageous, then you're gonna always just find yourself in that same space. And I think for a personality like mine, that's unacceptable because I
Mm.
can't live with regret,
Mm.
right? I just can't have I will never be that person that looks back and goes, I wish I had done this. Now, obviously,
Yes.
all of us, I go, I could have done things differently. But if I,
Sure, sure.
but when I made a mistake and I failed, I learned from it and I was like, okay, I'll do it better this time around. So I think that's important to people that understand that courage is incredibly important. And if they could just kind of just sometimes go, yeah, I'm just going to take that shot. You'd be surprised, man. All the things that could come out of just stepping outside of your comfort zone.
That's right, man. I love that. I love that. Listen, you guys are going to have to visit the website to see the rest of it. I'm not going to have Marcus, I'm not going to have Marcel give the rest of this.
There you go.
Go
Yeah,
to that.
visit it. It's a lot of information
It
and,
is. It's a ton of information, but
mhm.
it's a great deal of information that I think as we continue to push the culture forward, it's needed. These type of things are needed. The conversations of money. I know you dabble within cryptocurrency, even when you talked about AI. Those are things that we have to tap into. Can you talk to that just a little bit about tapping into that market a little bit, Marcel, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I mean the AI thing is consistently evolving. I notice a lot of people, a lot of again, I'm from a generation that was born, and I actually saw the internet when it was coming around.
Yeah,
So
that's right. That's
yeah,
right.
and it was
Yeah,
a
we
game
did.
changer, right? The internet was a
It
game
was.
changer. Well, AI is the same way, except this is now we're moving to that automated part of society where it's basically Bill Gates just said, he just said this last week that within 10 years it's going to be the computers doing everything and the humans are going to control the computers, right?
Wow.
So that's what AI is. It's basically going to take place. It's going to replace all of the manual labor in a lot of industries, and now it's going to
Yes.
be our responsibility to be educated enough to know how to prompt these systems, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so when we say prompt people, we're talking about Chat GPT, right? You can
Yes.
now go on Chat GPT, but you have to ask it the right question for it to give you the answer that you want.
That's
So
right.
that's where we're going with the technology part. And everybody that's really trying to get ahead of the curve, we're learning that on an ongoing basis. How does that impact our industries?
Man.
How does that
That's right.
impact everything that I own?
That's right.
So I'm always just looking at how we're going to make sure that our businesses are taking advantage of that. When you touched on crypto, I
Yes,
think
sir.
crypto is a beautiful asset class. I just think
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of people have they haven't had a good experience because the number one thing is they are dealing with these third parties that make them feel like they need help. And
That's true.
people,
That's
you
true.
don't need help, people. You can go to Coinbase.com or you could go to Robinhood.com and you could set up an account just like when you walk in the bank and you set up an account. You can set up an account on those platforms. You transfer some money from your bank account and you could buy crypto on your own.
That's right.
You don't
That's
need
right.
help. You don't need anybody to come show you how to do it. It's not hard. All you have to do is, again, do your basic due diligence. Just do your
Mm-hmm.
basic due diligence, and you
That's
can
right.
learn how to purchase crypto yourself. Now, again, there's a lot of levels to cryptocurrencies, right?
Yes.
But what I can tell everybody from an investment standpoint is what's helped me along the way is I normally only invest in premium assets, the top of the
Yeah.
class assets. I don't really
Yeah.
get involved with, speculative coins and things like that. So in the
Sure.
crypto world, you have Bitcoin, Solana, Ether. Those are pretty much like the top coins. I get involved with the top coins. And again, in that environment, it's going to be a lot of fluctuation. There's risk involved, but long term, crypto definitely has a place in your investment portfolio. And I think the last piece I could say on that is industry standard is with crypto, you probably only want to invest about 5% of your assets. And that's not a lot. So you
Right.
want so if you have about you have $5,000 out there, you probably want to only invest like maybe 500 to 250 just to get started. And let that portfolio build on itself. But you don't really want to put, all your eggs in that one basket because it's an unregulated industry. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
not it's so like you have you when it comes to your bank account, it's secured by government agencies. And if there was a run on your bank account, normally that money is insured and it can be replaced. Well, cryptocurrency isn't like that. Cryptocurrency
Nah.
it doesn't have a governing body. So you
No,
lose
sir.
it, you lose it. So you
That's
just have to
right.
be aware of that. But again, I would just, I just was reading something today and we were talking about that. The wealth builders, for everybody that's really trying to figure out, what their pillars should be. The wealth
Yeah.
builders are running your own business or having your own business, the stock market, doing something in the stock market. And when you talk about cryptocurrency, that's starting to be an emerging factor. And you always really want to have some level of real estate involved in your portfolio. That
That's
means
right.
you want to own a property, you want to rent it out, you want to do something in that area because real estate is always an appreciating asset. So no matter what they say, yeah, back in 2018 we had a crash, or 2008 we had a crash. We did have a crash,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that was 2008.
Right.
Like
It's
real estate has
2025 now.
appreciated ever since 2008, right? So that was
Right.
an anomaly. For the long term, real estate is always going to be appreciating value. Not like your car people right now did grab a
Oh my
Mercedes
God.
Benz. Then
You
come
know what I'm
on,
saying?
you leave the lot, that Benz is worth 30% less as soon
Boom.
as you turn the
Yes,
corner.
sir.
Like, come on now. So if you're really trying to get wealthy, you have to definitely invest in those appreciating assets.
Man, thank you for dropping those gems on us, man. Listen, you guys got that for free today. Y'all should be very, very happy. I hope you guys were taking notes during this conversation as he was dropping some jewels on us. So, listen, man, you also have a great podcast called Hustle and Grow. I
Mhm.
had an opportunity to check out some of the episodes on today. It was absolutely amazing. And I went and like and subscribe to it. So, you guys go out and make sure you like and subscribe to Hustle and Grow. It is information, a great tool of motivation to help us grow and become better. Can you talk to us about what it was like starting Hustle and Grow for you and why you created it? I mean, I know the answer to it, but why did you create it?
Yeah, I tell you what, that's one of those C's, right? Community again. I was
Yeah, it
really,
is.
really focused on when I was coming up in the entrepreneur game. It was really hard for me to get some of the successful people or people that I felt like you had information in that industry to really
Hmm.
share why they were successful and how they became successful and what it would take
Yes.
to be successful in their arena. They were really guarding that information. And I always said to myself that if I had an opportunity to create a platform where I could give back, where that young kid that's in his 20s and trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life, if he has that calling, he's like, I want to start my own business. I wanted him to have that free information right there available where he could at least hear and be guided in the right direction with regards to his industry. So when I created Hustle and Grow, I was like, I want entrepreneurs from across all platforms. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you're doing, as long as you're successful at what you're doing. I want to talk to you, interview you. Let my people hear what it took for you to get there. So it's my way of saying, hey, everybody, listen up because here's how you get there. Watch these people
Yes.
because they've done it, and let's just make it happen. I'm still, again, I tell you what, this whole yeah, the whole YouTube podcast platforms, I can tell you people, you should be clapping for Chris right now because this is
Oh, right
not an
on.
easy industry. Okay.
No, it's not.
It's a lot of people in this industry. It's very competitive. There's a lot of
Whew.
noise out there. So
Yes.
everybody can't have a successful platform. It's a
Whew.
it's a daily, daily grind. And
Man.
don't ever think that content creation is easy because to create these
No, it's not.
shows and put information out there that you guys can capitalize from takes
Yes.
effort. It takes a lot of
Yes.
effort. So when you
Great deal.
when you hear these platforms, you hear information coming through your speakers, just keep that in mind. This is probably out of a lot of, I've done a lot of different things. I've owned a number of companies. And again,
Yeah.
even the real estate game is very, very tough. But I tell you, one of the hardest things I've done is trying to create this channel. It is, it is, man. Every day I'm like,
It
oh my
is, man.
God, I had to tape
It is.
content. It is a grind. It's
It's
a
a
grind, man.
grind.
So it would definitely test your willpower. If
Yes, it
you want
will,
to
man.
step into this industry right here, I promise
Woo.
you're gonna get
Yeah.
tested. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it's about. It was just really about pushing that information out there, creating something that everybody could kind of like gravitate to, and
Right
just
on.
giving it 100% of my effort and showing people that hey, listen, you could do it too.
That's right, man. I love that, man. And you're absolutely right. I always tell people, I have a lot of friends that ask me, they're like, Ross, man, I really would love to start a podcast. And the first thing I say is, you sure you want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure that you love this, because there are
Mm-hmm.
going to be days where this it's no money involved with this now. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of this is you're funding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So trust me. So it's true what Marcel says. This is a different grind.
Yes.
There's a lot of networking, a lot of conversations that go in with making something like this happening. Sometimes it's not what you know with this industry, it's who you know. And that networking, it brings a great deal of power and influence. And it's true what you said. If you're intentional about who you want to be involved too,
Mm-hmm.
that makes a difference. If you're searching for, the way I look at it is, like you said, in this space that we're in, there's a lot going on. It's a
Yeah.
whole lot going on
Mm-hmm.
that if I'm being honest with you, I'm sick of it. It's not hating. I'm just sick of some of it that I see.
Yeah.
Um, but the platforms that are really geared towards making individuals better, talking about wealth, and just building the community up to show, hey, we over here. Hey, the grind. You really have to push it against the grain. You know what I'm saying? It's a different grind, but you're absolutely right. But you can get it done, though. If you love what you do, you can
Yeah.
get it done.
Yeah, you already know. I mean, we're in
Yes,
this we're in this environment where everybody wants to be entertained, and unfortunately,
sure.
negative stuff, people love to tune into that. So
Yes,
somebody slapping somebody across the face, or saying something controversial on the mic, that's gonna get more clicks.
it
And
will.
and for
It
me,
will.
I started out saying I'm not doing that. I'm
Got
like,
you.
I'm like, nah, this isn't because again, I'm not
Yeah,
doing it for the money, right? So
correct. I
I'm
got
not
you.
knocking people out there that do it for the cash,
Oh, no, no, no,
but
no.
yeah, that's their prerogative. I understand it, but I don't see. I've never been a reality TV type of person. I don't like to
Mm,
see people pull each other down. I just don't
yeah,
like to see it. Like I literally, it turns me off. Because
yeah,
I don't like to see that people flipping tables or cursing each other out, and specifically within the culture. Like that
yeah,
just turns me
yeah.
off. So I
Yes,
said I would never do anything like that. And I'm all
yes.
about, again, if I can't uplift people, then I'm not doing
They're
it.
not gonna do it.
And
Yeah,
it's cool.
yeah.
I don't care if I have 20 followers. And I used to do that all the time. I'm like, to my 30 followers out there, yo, we're good. Cause I mean, if you ride with me and you're gonna be on this ship right here, you gotta
That's
understand
right.
that I'm just gonna give you the real. I'm gonna be really
Yes,
honest with you. I'm gonna
yes.
demonstrate it and show you, but that's where
Mm-hmm.
I'm at. Like
Yeah,
I'm not into tearing people down or jumping somebody on
yes,
the mic or asking them some trick question to get clicks.
yes.
That's just not how it is. But I feel
Right
what
on.
you're saying, Chris. Like when you see people trying to get ahead that way, it could kind of turn you off. It could.
Yes.
I'm just kind of
Yeah.
like, but that's a bunch of foolishness and nonsense,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's not what this is for. These platforms are
Nah.
build to build and
Yes.
give back. These platforms aren't to tear people down and try to make
Yes.
like I'm not on board with that.
Yes. Yeah. I totally agree with you. I remember, Marcel, to your point, when you said that, I remember getting so frustrated one time that I thought I was going to try that, Marcel, right?
Hmm.
Because as an entrepreneur, I was like, I'm going to give this a shot and see what it's like. And you know what? After I did it, Marcel, I actually felt horrible.
There you
And
go.
then I said to myself, I said, I ain't going to ever do that again.
You know?
I think, and guess what's so crazy, Marcel? You're right. We got clicks.
See?
We got a ton of clicks. But
Yep.
after I did it, I was like, I hate I did that. So yeah, you're absolutely right. You try to do those things, but innately, if it's in you not to do that, then you're gonna find yourself like pulling back from that and saying, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
because at the core of me, I believe in karma, and karma goes both ways, people. Karma goes both ways. You can
It
put
does,
positive energy
Marcel.
out there, and you're gonna get positive
It
energy back.
does,
I
man.
promise you that. But you put that negative energy out there, it might not come back today or tomorrow. But 2 years
Oh, but
from
it's
now, when
coming
you're having
back.
a super bad day, then you need to figure out what you put out there in the environment that made that come back to you. And I
That's
promise you,
true.
that's real. That's real.
That is so real, man, across
Yeah.
the board. Yeah, man. I thank you, Marcel, for This time that you spent with us on today, it has been one that it's been a lot of gems that you've dropped and a lot of things that you've said. Even when I was looking at, when you were speaking a few minutes ago about your franchise deal, even when I watched it on Hustle and Flow, you just never know, first of all, what people have gone through. And then secondly, the, how can I say this? Brother, like, I was so impressed, like, it's one of those things like the nerve of you to go up there and say, "Hey, you gonna give me this deal." But I absolutely loved it though, because I was like, "That's what I'm talking about." No, I didn't have. I'm going in here anyway.
Yeah.
So you're gonna take. You gonna talk to me.
Yes, yes. Like
That's
it's I
dope.
don't care how many doors I
That's
encounter. You
dope.
get one of those doors cracked, and here I come. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be. I only get one shot at this.
One shot,
You don't
man.
get another shot at life, people. You get one
Nah.
shot. You got one time to make your mark on this planet and leave something to everybody. That's why I love what we're doing now. People can find this conversation and somebody's gonna get something out of it. Like
Yes,
I
man.
got one shot at Chris's show. I got one shot
One
to make
shot.
Marcel beat Marcel, and I'm taking it. I am taking it all the way to the house because
Man, come on.
this is what I do, and I know I'm here for a reason, and I'm gonna prove it to the world. I'm never going to stop, no matter what.
Man, yes, man. That's why I absolutely love this. I love talking with people like-minded that gets it, that understands it. I always tell a lot of the podcasters, I'm like, you wouldn't believe the people that I've talked to. And I don't have a million followers, but you would not believe who is in my small circle, my tribe of individuals that I've talked to. It has
Yep.
blown my mind away. So,
Yeah.
to your point, you're right. Sometimes you don't have to have a million followers
Nope.
to get to where you need to go.
That's
Like
it.
the company that you keep. I always went to some summits, radio summits, podcast summits, because there is a goal in mind. I won't speak too openly about it, but when you have a goal in mind, then you have to invest back into yourself. So if you would, Marcel, in close, man, I could talk to you for hours, man, because what it does is it fuels, that energy
Yeah.
just fuels. So if you would, can you talk a little bit about the importance of investing back into yourself, the value in that?
Well, I can tell you, as I've evolved into a natural born leader, I'm at the top. I'm in the front of the pack.
Come on,
So
man.
if I don't take care of myself, nobody will. And
Yeah.
I can't afford not to be at my sharpest and my finest. So I'm always talking to the Lord every night, not only when I need him or when I'm in a jam, but we have an ongoing relationship.
Mm,
I'm always in the gym working out all the time. I'm always trying to make sure that my health is great. I go see my doctor every 6 months.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm on me. Like I take care of me. Y'all heard me. I go get my hands done nice and
Come
clean.
on, man.
I
Come on,
go
man.
shopping when I want. Like I gotta take care of me. I have to put myself in the best position possible because if I go down, it's a whole lot of people around me that go down. And like
Yeah.
that's why you have to take care of yourself first. You have to put yourself first. People look at that as if it's selfish. No, because if you're not 100% and you can't carry the weight, then all you're gonna do is collapse. And then
That's
everybody
right.
around you that's been depending on you, and everybody that looks up at you, and people that you see you as a mentor, they're gonna be like, "What the hell?" And like,
Yeah.
so
It's true.
if you care about yourself, you have to take care of yourself and put yourself first above all else. And then you can help everybody else. But you have to
Mm,
be your primary focus. You have to be putting the best version of you forward every day. And you have to be working on your things every single day. And then when you'll find yourself in a nice space. But yeah, you have to stay strong in that space. You can't do that if you're trying to put everybody first, trying to take care
mm,
of everybody else's needs, trying to make everybody else happy. No, absolutely not. That's the worst thing you could do is put people before you. No,
mm.
have to come first. And when you learn to be first, number one, I'm gonna take care of myself, and then I got you, and I promise you, you will see a change.
Man, I love it, man. And I love the backdrop that you have. Work hard, stay humble. It's so funny
Always.
because I have that here too. Stay humble, work hard, and be kind
There you
is
go.
added in mine. But you know, man, I thank you, Marcel, for just being the gentleman that you are, the man that you are, the example of what we want to see in our community as men as we continue to hustle and grow.
Haha. There you go, Chris. I
I
love
went
that.
on and plugged it in for
I
you,
love
bro.
that plug. That was beautiful. Well done.
Right on, right on. So, Marcel, in closing, you said a lot today, but if you could actually say something positive to the culture, man, really to us as a people, to men, of course, to everybody, but to us specifically, could you say something positive to help us know who we are, continue to grow, to continue to hustle and grow? So, if you would, could you speak to that?
Oh yeah. I mean, specifically right now, we are under attack. They're trying to roll back our culture, people. But let
Yes,
me tell
sir.
you that let me say this. If there's any culture that's ready, it's us. We've been through this
Come on.
for decades.
Come on now.
Decades. They want to go over
Decades.
there and mess around with the African American Center. Watch what's about to happen. I
Come on.
promise you that because you don't want Black America to get up because like we're just
No,
kind of sitting
sir.
back and watching what's happening right now. But I
Yep.
promise you, I've watched it time and time again. George Floyd, we mobilize. So
Yes,
if
sir.
there's anything right now, I'm telling everybody, yeah, let's buckle down and just understand we're about to be in another era of the civil rights movement. Because I
Yes.
promise you, they're gonna come test us. And
Yes, different.
when they do come test us, we're gonna show them what we have. Okay, because we don't lay down, and we're not gonna let anybody roll back all of the accomplishments that we had. We just had a Black president for
It's
a reason.
crazy.
So like they not gonna move us. So I'm just telling
Nah,
everybody, let's just get ready for that and believe. Believe because
believe.
again, we're the culture that's prepared for this. We've been doing this forever. We've never lost one of these fights. We'll jump in that ring and we'll be boxing for 30 rounds. So we're gonna do what
Thanks.
we're gonna do right here, but we're gonna stick together and believe. And I promise you, we're gonna push right through this.
Right, man. I absolutely love that, man. And give the folks your way on now.
Oh yeah, come find me at Marcel Marcel Clarke CLARKE.co. So no .com people, I got the .co. But come to marcelclarke.co and you can see
I know.
everything that I've ever done. You can see my businesses, a lot of my the things right now. You'll see the book I just published. So I want you guys to come out and show me some love. And you can also find me on IG Marcel Clarke CLARKE_. That's my IG. You can find you want to know a little bit more about me personally. You can find me there. And just like Chris said, just go to Hustle and Grow. And you can plug that in on anything. Just go to YouTube, Marcel Clarke Hustle and Grow. And you see my whole channel pop up, and you can see everybody. Again, nothing about the culture, the tribe. I really appreciate the support. Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Right on, man. No doubt. Listen, I hope you guys have learned something on today that can help you become a better you. Listen, make sure you hit that like and subscribe to the Black Rock Network. And we appreciate you, Marcel, again with your actively black gear on. I see you,
Told
bro.
you. I'm
Come on,
always
man,
a culture, man. I'm
for the
about the
culture,
culture, man.
baby. I absolutely love it. Listen, this is the Ross Cloud Podcast.